Hello, everyone, and good morning, and welcome to One Civil Law. I hope you're having a great day. We are turning in once again to the wonders and glory that is the Karen retrial. What day are we on today? I think we're on day number 15. Has it already been 2 weeks? It simultaneously seems like not that long and longer than that, which I guess means we must be having a good time or something like that. Exciting. I'm glad that you're spending some time with me yesterday. Finally, Mr. Buchanan, Mr. Bukaki himself got off the stand. Thank God I don't have to hear more from that guy for a while. But that, of course, leads to the question: who is the mystery witness today? We don't know the answer to the question. We don't know who the mystery witness is. Who will appear? Who will be testifying? Who will provide some wonderful insights and glory? Will expectations be defied and it will be Proctor after all? Maybe much like we thought that we'd never get an American Pope, we think that we won't get Michael Proctor until he shows up. Good times. So maybe we'll have that guy show up. Who knows? Or someone else shows up, or something else happens. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities. Probably another police detective, if I had to imagine. Maybe a police detective we haven't heard from before. There's so many people from the police force that could testify. Maybe someone different. Maybe a new police officer. Maybe the chief of police shows up. That'd be good. I don't know. Maybe who knows who shows up? Maybe Trooper Paul shows up. He's not supposed to, but hey, any day with Trooper Paul is a good day. Maybe I miss Trooper Paul. Trooper Paul's the best. Maybe we get who knows what happens. We'll see as it all progresses, as it does, how that all turns in as we get ready for another fun-filled day. Good morning. They canceled court? Oh. Well, in that case, that might be the end of the stream. Well then. Okay. Well, that was a short stream. Okay. Well, there's no court? What happened? What? Well, unavoidable circumstances. Well, that definitely clarifies things, narrows things down in a way. That helps. Unavoidable circumstances. Yeah. Thank you for that clarification. Court. What am I going to do with my day, though? What am I going to do? What am I going to do with my day? Could it be a plea? That sounds exceptionally unlikely. Dismissal? There is no way on this earth. That is more plausible than a plea, but a straight dismissal. The Commonwealth doesn't have enough integrity for that. Why would they dismiss at this point? Why would they dismiss at this point? They would have because they have integrity suddenly. A dismissal seems very implausible, although no particular explanation is plausible. The most plausible explanation is that someone who's critical to the case was like injured or something. Like the judge had a heart attack last night or something like that, and is in the hospital. Something like that. That would be the most plausible thing. The judge had a heart attack. Well, yeah, why don't you guys tell me what happened? Why is court canceled today? Wrong answers only. We can at least have some fun with it. What wrong answers only? Why is court canceled for the day? Yeah. Would the judge having a heart attack result in dismissal? If the judge was unable to continue, no, it would result in a mistrial. Manifest necessity. Yeah, if the judge was unable to continue because of health reasons, it would be a mistrial. Well, either one of two things. You'd either have to have another judge slide in, so you could hypothetically do that if another judge is available. Although it'd be difficult, but not impossible. It would be difficult in this kind of case because of how complex it is. So either one, you'd have to have another judge slide in mid-trial, or two, you'd have to have a mistrial due to manifest necessity. One of the two. Yeah. One of the lawyers dropped dead. That would also be manifest necessity, incidentally. The kids are up today. Okay. Well, that would just mean it's not being broadcast. Although that would make sense that it's just not being broadcast today, but trial's happening today. Okay. There was an email sent out that saying the court is canceled. Exciting. Yeah, Court TV is now reporting Commonwealth versus Canry is not taking place today due to unavoidable circumstances, according to a court spokesperson. That covers a lot of ground. What am I supposed to do with my day? I guess I get to go to my PO box and pick up some things. That's nice. I could hypothetically make a watch today. I was going to wait till the weekend, but my stuff is here now, so I could go to the store and make a watch today. You guys want to do a watch build today? We might do a watch build today. That could be fun. Yeah. We could watch a Turtle Boy court hearing today. Day drinking and tacos. Day drinking is not much fun as it used to be. I'm too old for day drinking these days. The FBI indicted somebody? Well, first of all, the FBI doesn't indict, the DOJ does, but I'm just giving you a hard time. But that seems implausible too. I'm just waiting to see if there's going to be any updates as to what's going on in court today. Ice deported Yuri. Yeah, that's funny. Maybe the judge had a mental snap. Maybe the judge had a crisis of conscience, and she can't take it anymore. Maybe she heard the OnlyFans song, and it persuaded her. She tuned into the Uncivil Law stream, and she heard the OnlyFans song, and it moved her, and she's unable to continue. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe someone's being named as part of the Diddy case. That'd be good. That's the only way this case could get any more bizarre. Maybe Diddy dropped a name, and one of the names is the Alberts. How about that? How about that for a theory? That's good. Yeah, Diddy dropped a name, and thy name is Albert. What is going on here?
Of Dedham, Massachusetts, we've just gotten word that the trial against defendant Karen Reed over the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe is not happening today. A court spokesperson has let us know that due to unavoidable circumstances, the trial is not happening today. So our team on the ground there is working to try to get more information and find out why. So what exactly could this mean? Does it practically mean for the sides, for the attorneys, the witnesses, all of them involved? Let's bring in our legal analyst guest, Attorney Randolph Rice. I used to head up the gang unit in the district attorney's office where he was a prosecutor for many years. Randolph, boy, this was a surprise. Everybody was ready to go, and we don't have a lot of information. Just we hear that this is due to unavoidable circumstances. No trial happening today. Well, I'm not going to ask you to speculate on the reasons why. What does it do practically for the lawyers? Let's say the lawyers, the jurors, the people who are coming prepared to do things today, witnesses, all of that. Would you kind of take us behind the scenes as to how things be configured when something like this occurs?
Yeah, this is found time, Julie. I mean, this is amazing when you hear something like this as an attorney, because when you're in the middle of a trial, let me sort of take you inside of this mindset of a lawyer during a trial. You are so exhausted, busy, and you know this from when you practice, is that it's just nonstop. To get a day break, to get some time to catch up, to maybe go back and review testimony, to think about what you're going to ask next, who you're going to call next, how you're going to answer or to ask questions of a prosecutor's witness. It is amazing when you hear something like this. Now, we don't know why, obviously, but it's just great when you hear you have a day to do some more prep or to have a break. It's great.
Right. I love what you said, Randolph, how you called it found time. Because you're right, as a trial attorney, it's very stressful being in trenches and trying cases. There's hardly time to eat. There's hardly time to sleep. There's hardly time for any diversion, talking to family. Any family of trial attorneys know that it's tough. It's like you're eating on the go. You're racing around. It's not fun. It's very stressful. So you're right. This might be a day to do some extra prep. And so follow-up question for you, please. Let's say you're on the side of the prosecution because they carry the burden. So let's say you get this found time today. What might you do with your time today if you're on the side of the Commonwealth?
Well, that's tough. And like you said, Julie, and it's hard to sort of explain this unless you've gone through a very long trial. And while it may not be physically challenging, for some reason at the end of the day, you are tired. You just feel like you've run a marathon for some. It's because you are mentally on for 8 hours. So there's two things the prosecution could do. One, they could take a day of rest, which they may need. They may need that with all the different witnesses, all the sort of the constant, berating questions from the defense that they've had to sort of fight against. Or they take a day to go back and they say, all right, let's review everything that we've done so far and make sure we haven't missed something, to make sure that we don't need to go back and recall somebody to fill in a hole that we missed.
Points, Randolph, as always, thank you for that. Still are working to find out the reason why. So our team is there. We're in place. We were all ready to go to bring you this trial today. And so here's what we're going to do. While we work on that and getting more information as to why the court day was canceled today, let's take a look back at what came in to evidence on Monday. Here we go.
He testified that on direct examination that there was no video from Ring at or around the time 12:36 a.m. When Miss Reed's SUV returned back to One Meadows. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
Are you aware that after John O'Keefe's cell phone was recovered by Massachusetts State Police, someone at Massachusetts State Police actually opened the Ring app on his cell phone?
Yes.
Who is the person who opened and accessed the Ring app on John O'Keefe's cell phone?
I'm not 100% sure.
Sergeant, having looked at this report, does that refresh your recollection as to who may have accessed that Ring app?
Yes, that report is authored by Michael Proctor, and it says that investigators accessed the application.
Proctor then, former Proctor, Michael Proctor, then responded, correct?
That's what it says here, yes.
And he responded to the group, funny, I'm going through his client's phone. He wrote, no nudes so far, correct?
That's what it says, yes.
What did you think he was looking for when he wrote that phrase?
I don't know what he was looking for.
What would be a reasonable interpretation of what Michael Proctor was looking for when he wrote, no nudes so far?
I don't know.
Motorcycles, handbags, pair of shoes, or naked pictures of Miss Karen Reed?
His mission was to go through the phone to look for digital evidence that's related to the crime. The fact that he wrote no nude so far, I cannot comment on.
Do you stand by your testimony that Michael Proctor conducted himself during the course of this investigation with integrity?
Yes, I do.
The fact is, Sergeant, you put it in writing and you liked it, correct?
I acknowledge the text message. I never saw the vile term.
And you'll also agree that this video was taken before any taillight material was ever found at 34 Fairview, correct?
I know that the SUV pulled into the garage, the Sally Port, at 5:35, and we were still on scene at 5:51, almost 52. So, yes, if that's timestamp before 5:51, before we left Canton PD, then yes, taillight pieces had already been found. At that point in time, after viewing Mr. O'Keefe's injuries, my shifted from possibly being struck with the glass that was located at the scene where he was found to him being struck by a vehicle.
Why?
due to the abrasions and cuts on his right arm, and the amount of force, in my experience, the amount of force one would have to generate to produce the wound to his head.
Had anybody in that home ever mentioned the idea of whether or not John O'Keefe went into 34 Fairview that night?
No.
Did you have any information whatsoever that there was any animus or animosity between Brian Higgins and John O'Keefe?
No.
Did you have any information that there was any animosity between Brian Albert and John O'Keefe?
No.
All right, so that was a look at what happened on Monday. When we come back, you're going to see an interview that I did with 3 of Officer John O'Keefe's dearest friends. As we take you to break, come to your television set and look at these billboards that have been put up all around the great Boston area to remember the person that this case is about. The 16-year veteran of the Boston Police Department, Officer John O'Keefe, gone far too soon.
Karen Reed, a killer girlfriend?
She's guilty.
Or the scapegoat in an elaborate cover-up?
Karen Reed was framed!
We know who did it.
The Karen Reed murder retrial. Live coverage today on Court TV.
Just look at that touch from Trinity Rodman.
Saturday night.
When she is on the field, she changes the game.
Saturday night. Saturday night.
Saturday night is our night.
The new Saturday Night Out is on ION all season long.
Well, you guys in chat are saying that there's some hubbub happening, apparently. Egregious Darkly says Canton PD sources say station was buzzing this morning. Feds might be back in town. That's exciting. The feds are back in town? It would surprise me if the feds were taking action at this time. But you know, could be, I guess. Yeah, the feds are unlikely to intervene at this time, it seems. The feds would not want to intervene with an ongoing state court proceeding if they could avoid it. It's not really their MO. I was just scrolling Twitter to see if there's any information, but there doesn't seem to be any information. Are there any like feeds of people like outside the courthouse live streaming? That'd be good. Yeah, the feds wouldn't have done anything because of what Yuri said. The feds wouldn't act that precipitously. It's not because of something that happened yesterday. I mean, that seems very, very unlikely too. They could have arrested a witness. Possible, but that doesn't really feel like the Fed's MO either. The feds wouldn't want to interfere with a state level court proceeding unless they really had to for some reason. So it doesn't feel like the most plausible solution. It's possible, but it just doesn't strike me as particularly plausible. Yeah, everyone apparently was in the courthouse today and apparently got canceled at the last possible second. Well, while we're waiting, let's watch this clip from Lawyer No from yesterday, because this looks like it might be interesting. Any Supreme Court oral argument we could do? Yeah, there's some stuff we could do there. Let's watch this clip and see what Lawyer No has to say about this issue, whatever this issue is.
I needed to take a look at Mr. O'Keefe's injuries for myself.
And you share with us detail about when you went down to Good Samaritan Hospital to make observations.
Yes, sir.
On direct examination, I pointed out you're not a medical examiner, are you?
I am not, no.
Not a biomechanical.
All right, so here we go. This is maybe the single worst decision Judge Canoni has made in the entire trial. I pointed out you're not a medical examiner. This is what we call the opposite of tendering an expert, right? It's like, you went to medical school, you were an ME for this many years, you studied this, you've seen this many car accidents, this many dog bites, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? That's when you're setting up, okay, now let me ask you your medical opinion here. Instead, he says, you're not a medical examiner. I pointed that out on direct, right? Yeah. But here I'm going to go and ask you your medical opinion of what the injuries looked like. And Alan Jackson correctly and timely objects, and Judge Canoni overrules it to allow him to testify to something she said you had to be a medical doctor last time to testify to. And this time, multiple experts have been tendered to that, and they have to be voir dired, and they had to be objected to, and Daubert challenges for her to make these decisions. Yet, Yuri Buchanan, English is his third language, but medicine might be his first. We didn't ask him what language 1 and 2 were, right? Like this was wild to me that Judge Canoni allowed him to testify to this.
I am not, no.
In your experience, when you looked at Mr. O'Keefe and had a chance to study his body, what impression did that leave with you?
Study his body. You had the opportunity to study his body.
With relative to your investigation?
Objection. You had the opportunity to study his body. What impression did that leave you with? What?
You're not wrong, Peter.
What is the causation of his injuries is the appropriate question for an expert.
You're not wrong.
After studying his body, what impression did that leave you with? Like, what? That was crazy to me. People can say bias, Bev. To me, I would use, I'm not going to say what I would say.
Oh, dear.
But it was almost just like, it was an unintelligent decision by her.
Oh, dear.
Like either she wasn't paying attention. You can call it bias if you want. That's fine. I think she wasn't paying attention, was like, oh crap. Because this was a terrible decision, easily wrong, dead wrong. And she eventually, I think, figures it out in a second.
At that point in time, after viewing Mr. O'Keefe's injuries, my impression shifted from him possibly being struck with a glass that was located.
What did you really want to say, Peter? What did you really want to say?
At the scene where he was found, to him being struck by a vehicle.
Why?
So his impression changed after he set it up where you looked at the body, you studied the body, and you determined that John O'Keefe was not hit by a glass, but instead was hit by a car. John said, she kind of corrected herself. I agree, too late, and didn't strike it. If you really realize you made a mistake like that as a judge, you strike it. That's what you need to do. Say, we're going to strike it, strike that answer from his, from evidence, from the record. He is not a medical doctor. You'll hear from medical experts later on this issue. That's a big miss to me, number one. Number two, I am definitely pushing for every ARCA witness to be able to answer this question. After studying the pictures of John O'Keefe's body and applying your expertise, was John O'Keefe hit by a car? They should all be able to answer it now. I think that's another way where you can kind of fix this.
Yeah, you're not wrong, sir. You're not wrong. Yeah. The only part I would disagree with you on is that it is the worst decision she's made. There's so many to choose from. It's hard to pick which is the stupidest. So the only part of that analysis I would disagree with is the argument that it is the most egregious. I'm not even sure it's in the top 10 of most egregious decisions, but you know, when you're trying to rank what is the stupidest among the stupid, you're probably going to get some differences of opinion, but that's okay. That's the only part I disagree with. Grounds for appeal? Not really. I mean, technically yes, but not really, no. Someone is saying the case is being delayed for the week with some evidence coming forward. Ooh, I like that idea. I mean, that's a bit implausible, but in some senses it would explain something. Somehow some mystery new evidence has somehow entered the party. Okay. I like that. I like that idea, Egregious Darkly. At this stage of the thing, I mean, we really shouldn't be surprised, to be honest, because mystery new evidence dropping into the case has been something we've been seeing throughout the case, right? Especially from the state, right? Mystery new evidence just dumping into the record. So yeah, the state found some mystery new evidence that somehow speaks to this case in a material way. That makes sense. Mystery new evidence enters the picture. Yeah, the sidebar graphic I think is a little clearer, just around. No disrespect, but yeah, we do have our new sidebar graphic. So that's a much clearer. Well, this is just big ass sidebar now. Is there no trial for the rest of the week? We don't know that. That's just a rumor. We don't know what's going on. Can I cover allegations against Buffalo Public Schools? I have absolutely no idea what you're referring to. I have no idea what allegations against Buffalo Public Schools. And I probably, depending on what's going on, probably can't dump straight into it. I mean, I'd have to probably look something up. I have no idea what you're talking about. So, not really. Well, thank you for your super chat. It could also hypothetically be some sort of security issue for the courthouse, although that seems implausible for the entire day. Well, I guess we're going to end the stream now. Turtle Boy? I don't know if I want to really get into Turtle Boy. Maybe we'll do Turtle Boy. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to my P.O. box. Well, my P.O. box I don't think is open yet for the day. When my P.O. box opens for the day, I'm going to go to my P.O. box and get the last of my stuff. And then maybe do a watchmaking stream. That sounds fun. Look in Discord? Okay. What? Why are you telling me about state of Ohio, Rose? I'm confused. What at Rose? Why are you telling me about a random Ohio case I am confused. Possible Zoom at 11? Are we doing this thing via Zoom? Maybe we're doing this thing via Zoom. Well, I don't know what we're going to do then. Maybe we'll come back later today, I guess. If there's a Zoom, maybe we'll come back at 11. Yeah, I guess we're going to end the stream for now and come back later. I don't know what else to do. All right. Well, guys, thank you for joining the stream. It's been fun and exciting. We might be back on today with a hearing later today. We might be on might do a Supreme Court thing. We might do something else. We'll see what happens later, I guess. I've been on Civil Law. Thanks for dropping by. Till later, my friends. Bye for now, I guess.